Chapter 1. Before she walked in.
Harper Cole found Ashton's watch in the same drawer she always did. He called for it from the bedroom like he hadn't checked there first. She didn't sigh or roll her eyes. She just brought it to him.
"You're going to pretend you looked for this, right?" she said, handing it over.
Obviously, he answered, already fastening it. He kissed her cheek on autopilot, the way you pat pockets to check for keys. Not cold, just familiar. Efficient. The apartment around them looked better than they could afford. Second-hand furniture arranged to look intentional. Plants they occasionally remembered to water. Framed photos from nights when staying out late felt like winning at life. They'd built this place together piece by piece. That used to be the fun part.
"What's on today?" she asked.
Campaign review, then prep for the collab launch. He said it casually, but there was electricity under it. Work mattered to him in a way that was starting to feel like a second relationship. He didn't notice her watching him, how he straightened his collar twice, or checked his phone as if the day might start without him if he looked away.
"Do we still have dinner tonight?" she asked.
He hesitated. Not long, just long enough to register. Should be fine. If the meeting doesn't go over. She nodded. She'd heard that answer a few times lately. It didn't mean he didn't want to show up. It meant work decided first.
"Pasta," she said lightly. "Simple. Minimal risk of you burning something."
He laughed, and for a moment it was easy again. That was how it always worked. Tiny slips, tiny repairs. When he finally kissed her properly, she leaned into him out of muscle memory. It felt good, but fast. Not rushed. Just fit in. "You're still my favorite person," he said against her forehead. She believed he meant it. She also believed she wasn't always top of mind anymore. Both could be true. He grabbed his things and headed to the door. "Love you."
"Love you."
When the lock clicked behind him, the apartment felt different. Not empty. Just paused.
She carried her mug back into the kitchen and started cleaning up from last night without thinking about it. She wiped the ring the mug had left on the counter, even though it didn't bother her. She did that now. Little corrections, keeping things smooth. Her phone buzzed.
"Lena, brunch this weekend? Or are you still pretending to be a real adult with a schedule?"
Harper smiled and tapped back. "Harper, brunch. I need to complain about work and my boyfriend. In that order."
Lena replied with a voice note this time, crackling and half asleep. "You two are fine. He just gets tunnel vision. You've survived way worse."
Harper set the phone down. She knew Lena was right. The early years were messy. Jobs coming and going, bills in piles, nights where dinner was whatever they could find in the back of the cupboard. They'd come out of that stronger. This should be the easy part. And yet, she rinsed her bowl, grabbed her bag, and checked that the door had locked behind her twice instead of once. She didn't used to double-check. Waiting for the bus, she caught her reflection in the glass of the shelter. She looked the same. Same hair, same eyes, same everything. But the expression was different. Alert. Measuring. Like she'd started tracking something without realizing she was doing it. She told herself it was just work stress for Ashton. Just a phase. In a few days, she'd know that wasn't the whole story. She'd remember this morning as the last quiet one. Chapter 2. Upwardly mobile. The restaurant wasn't the kind of place you just walked into. You needed a reservation or a connection or both. The host checked names on a tablet like he was screening passport holders. When Lena waved from the corner table, Harper felt her shoulders drop a little.
Lena was already halfway through a cocktail the color of watermelon candy. "You two are late, but in fairness, everyone here is late, so you're still fashionable."
"We're 8 minutes past the booking," Harper said, sliding into the seat next to her.
"You're adorable," Lena replied.
Ashton took the seat across from Harper, shrugging off his jacket like he'd done it in 100 of these places. Evan, already there, raised his glass at him in greeting.
"Hey, Ward," Evan said. "How's life as the busiest man alive?"
"Productive," Ashton answered, grinning. "Not too busy to be here, though."
"Sure," Evan said lightly. We'll see if you still remember us when you're too important to make eye contact.
It got a laugh out of everyone, including Ashton. But Harper caught the steel under it. Evan didn't do direct hostility. He turned it into entertainment and let people figure out if he was joking. Menus arrived, big and dramatic, like they were printed on fabric instead of paper. Every dish had 3 ingredients and a paragraph describing the farm the lettuce came from.
Lena leaned close to Harper. If everything costs more than a phone bill, I'm blaming you.
You were the one who insisted we need to be seen sometimes, Harper reminded her.
Yeah, but I meant seen at a wine bar, not whatever the hell this is. She gestured to the menu like it had personally offended her.
Miles, one of Ashton's co-workers, joined the table, greeting Ashton with an elbow bump. "Launch is going to be huge," he said loud enough for half the room to hear. "Ward's the man right now."
Ashton shrugged like he was embarrassed, but he didn't hate it.
Lena mouthed wow at Harper in a way that wasn't mean, just observant. Harper smiled back, even though something about the dynamic made her sit straighter.
When the server came to take drink orders, Ashton surprised her. "Just water for me."
Harper blinked. No wine tonight?
"Big day tomorrow, I want a clear head," he said.
That wasn't the surprising part. The surprising part was that he hadn't told her about a big day tomorrow. She held on to that thought and filed it next to the others she wasn't supposed to notice.
Conversation rolled over the table in competing pockets. Work gossip, apartment hunting, gym memberships, trips half planned but loudly announced anyway. Everyone wanted to sound like their life was trending upward.
"Harper, the clinic doing okay?" Miles asked in a tone too casual to be casual.
It's good, she said. Patients are progressing.
"Oh yeah, you're like helping people walk again and stuff?" he asked, waving vaguely like it was a side hobby.
It's physical rehab, but also cognitive work, she said. It's structured. Real-world recovery, not magic tricks.
Miles nodded like he understood exactly nothing.
Ashton stepped in. "She's brilliant at her job. People literally trust her with their lives."
It was a simple sentence, but coming from him at this table, it landed. Harper didn't need praise often, but that one mattered.
Evan clinked his glass toward her. She's the impressive one here. Ashton just sells ideas. Harper fixes people.
Everyone laughed, including Ashton, but the muscle in his jaw twitched before he smoothed it out. Harper caught it. Evan definitely caught it.
The first round of food arrived, artistic portions arranged like someone had taken a ruler to the garnish. Lena stabbed a piece of her entree and whispered, $70 for 3 mouthfuls. This better come with a side of enlightenment.
Harper almost choked, trying not to laugh.
Across the table, Ashton leaned in toward Miles, talking about the launch again. Rooftop, sponsorships, press lists, names of people who mattered in that world. People Harper didn't know.
She didn't interrupt. She didn't even try to. Instead, she watched him talk. Hands animated, eyes bright. And realized that lately she only saw this version of him in crowds, not at home.
Lena nudged her with her knee. You good?
Yeah, Harper said. She meant it, mostly. She was proud of him. She just wasn't sure she was still part of the picture he was moving into.
When dessert menus hit the table, Evan looked at Ashton and said, "Harper tells me you two have a quiet night planned tonight."
Ashton blinked for half a second. "Yeah, definitely."
The hesitation was small enough that nobody else reacted. But Harper felt it. His brain wasn't already holding that plan as a certainty.
"Good," Evan said, casual again. "You two need it."
Harper shot him a warning look under the table. Evan sipped his drink, unbothered. When they all stood to leave, Ashton helped Harper on with her coat without being asked. It was gentle and familiar, the kind of thing he's always done. He wasn't treating her badly. That almost made it more confusing.
Outside, while waiting for their ride shares, Lena squeezed Harper's arm. You two look solid, she whispered. Just don't forget to say the quiet stuff out loud sometimes.
Harper nodded. She wasn't sure if that meant she should speak up more, or if she'd already been doing too much.
As they walked toward the car, Ashton took her hand, threading his fingers through hers.
She held on because she wanted to, and because she needed to. But the thought she'd been avoiding since brunch with Lena crept back in anyway. If we're doing so well, why am I checking for proof?
Chapter 3. Office Brags. The Office playlist was already thumping when Ashton walked in, some bass-heavy pop track meant to energize the creative team. Half the company wore headphones anyway. One designer was shooting reference photos of sneakers on the couch in the lobby. Two copywriters argued about whether the word immersive had lost all meaning. It was chaos, but curated chaos, the kind clients paid extra for.
Miles spotted him before he reached his desk. Ward, the man of the hour. Again.
Ashton kept walking but grinned. You're going to make my head explode one of these days.
Please, you love it, Miles said, falling into step beside him. The board is still talking about your pitch from Tuesday. They think you're printing gold in that head of yours.
Ashton pretended to shrug it off. I mean, it went well.
It went insane, Miles corrected. I swear if you left tomorrow, the whole campaign would just crumble out of spite.
Someone nearby overheard and jumped in, Riley from production. Can you two flirt somewhere else? Some of us are trying to finish the world's most stressful storyboard. Ashton laughed, accepted the compliment disguised as sarcasm, and settled at his desk. Notifications were already stacked up. Emails from upper management, Slack pings from the campaign team, and 3 new calendar invites for meetings that hadn't existed when he fell asleep last night. This level of demand used to intimidate him. Now it felt like proof that he mattered.
Miles leaned over the partition. Random question. Do you know Jolene Moreau?
The name landed. He didn't react visibly, but his attention sharpened.
She's going to be on the guest list for the launch, Miles continued. Apparently she's pushing 500,000 followers. The PR team wants to get her into the campaign visuals if we can.
As talent? Ashton asked.
As gravity, Miles said. You drop her into a room and suddenly your event goes from nice to no one can shut up about it.
As if summoned, someone across the aisle pulled up Jolene's profile on a huge monitor. A video of her laughing at a rooftop bar, sunlight in her hair, comments spamming heart emojis and flame icons. The whole team clustered around for a moment, no shame about it. Look at the engagement, a strategist said. She posts a picture of her coffee, and it gets more traction than most brand deals. That's absurd, someone else said, admiringly.
Miles shot Ashton a look. If we don't secure talent like her, competitors will.
And everyone suddenly looked at Ashton, like the outcome was his responsibility. He didn't ask why. He already knew why. His last few campaign wins weren't flukes, and everyone felt it. Who's our contact for her? Ashton asked, opening a new tab.
Miles clapped him on the shoulder. That's my guy.
The whole exchange took 20 seconds, but in those 20 seconds, Ashton's day went from normal to loaded with expectation. Good. Expectation meant they needed him. He pulled up his deck for the next meeting and immediately started rewriting the order of slides, because now the launch wasn't just a campaign. It was a potential moment. And he was driving it. Slack messages rolled in rapid fire. Sasha, creative director, need you at the morning pre-brief, 10 minutes. Mihir, brand. Board wants fresh projections by noon, possible push to Euromarket. Achara, reminder, you still haven't used any of your PTO this year. He ignored the last one.
Miles reappeared with 2 coffees. Caramel oat for the talent, regular for the peasants.
Ashton smirked, taking the fancy one. Bribing me won't get you assigned fewer deliverables.
Incorrect, Miles said. It gets me protected when the interns mess up.
That part was probably true. Someone passing by slapped Ashton lightly on the back. Crush it today, Ward. You're the reason this collab actually has teeth. He didn't know the guy's name. It didn't matter. The praise landed anyway. The pre-brief meeting ran long, then merged into another one, then into an impromptu brainstorm that Sasha insisted happen while adrenaline's high. At one point, someone pulled up an analytics dashboard, and the room literally applauded a spike in numbers tied to one of Ashton's campaign rollouts. He sat there trying to look modest, but his chest felt warm, and not from the coffee.
Around 3 p.m., Miles leaned in and said quietly, "Hey, you didn't check your phone all day? Your girl's probably blowing you up for ignoring her."
Ashton checked. 2 messages from Harper.
Harper, hope your day's going okay. Harper, thinking of you.
He stared at the screen longer than necessary, not because he didn't care, but because the messages felt like they came from a different world than the one he was sitting in. He typed back, "Crazy day. Tell you about it later." He added a red heart emoji. He deleted it. He sent the message without one. He left the office almost 12 hours after he arrived. The playlist was still going. Someone was still photographing sneakers. Someone else was asleep on a beanbag.
Miles held the elevator doors with his foot. "You killed it today."
Ashton stepped in. Yeah, he meant it. He also meant something else, and didn't say it. That feeling he had here was getting harder to find anywhere else. Chapter 4. The Invitation. Ashton didn't usually talk while brushing his teeth, but tonight he did. Foam and all. "Big dates confirmed," he said around the toothbrush. "The rooftop launch. It's happening next month."
Harper sat on the bed, scrolling without really reading anything. The music tech collab thing?
He rinsed his mouth, wiped his face with the corner of a towel, then walked into the room with that restless energy he got when work was going well. "Yeah, it's bigger than we thought. There's talk of a full press run, maybe even a featured playlist drop. And the invites? Insane, like the kind of people we used to joke about meeting."
He wasn't exaggerating. She could tell. The way he paced, the way his voice carried, the way he gestured with his hands. He was running on something more than caffeine. "That sounds huge," she said, meaning it.
He grabbed his phone, scrolling quickly. "Check this out. Mock-ups of the activation layout. Rooftop pool, live DJ, skyline backdrop, custom light projection, and the PR firms working on making it viral before it even happens."
Harper leaned closer so she could see. The renders looked like something out of a streaming series. Expensive, stylish, curated to be photographed. Slick bodies, sharp angles, champagne glass silhouettes, neon reflections on water. "Wow," she said. "It looks unreal."
"It's going to put the company on the map," Ashton said. "If it hits the numbers they want, this becomes the case study everyone references." He paused, watching her face like he was waiting for her to catch up to the scale of it. She did, and she was happy for him. But she was also thinking of her clinic, her patients, her lunches eaten at her desk, her uniform polo compared to satin dresses and rooftop photos. He sat beside her on the bed, still holding the phone. "You're coming with me, right?"
It wasn't a casual invitation. It was marked. She felt it. "I mean, yeah. If you want me there."
He blinked, surprised. "Of course I want you there. You're my person."
She smiled because she was glad he said it. She also noticed that want didn't come instantly. It came after he heard her doubt.
He turned the phone toward her again. "There's this theme. Soundtrack your city. The guest list plays into it. Influencers, music people, brand faces, some huge names. It's going to be the room."
The room. She'd heard that phrase before. It meant the people whose attention decided whose careers lived or died. It meant everyone watching everyone to see who mattered most.
"You'll fit right in," he added.
She nodded automatically, even though she wasn't sure she believed it. She wasn't uncomfortable with crowds. She just didn't love ones that felt like auditions. But supporting him mattered. That was real. "What should I wear?" she asked lightly.
His grin came fast. "Something that makes you feel unstoppable."
The phrase was sweet. It also meant I don't know what the dress code is, but it's intense. He lay back onto the bed, clearly exhausted now that the adrenaline had worn off. She placed his phone face down on the bedside table. He wrapped an arm lazily around her waist, half asleep already.
"You good?" he murmured.
Yeah, she said. He didn't hear it. He was already gone. Harper stared at the ceiling, letting the apartment settle around them. The faint sound of traffic outside, someone down the street laughing too loudly, the pipes in the wall ticking as the shower cooled. Attending the event would mean stepping into his world, the version of Ashton that thrived under spotlights, handshakes, compliments. She wasn't afraid of that world. She just didn't know if she belonged in it anymore. Before turning off the lamp, she checked her phone. No new messages, no plans for dinner tomorrow, no details for next week. Everything big in their life seemed to be happening on his calendar first. She clicked the light off and eased herself into his chest because she wanted him close. Because she loved him. Because he still loved her. But somewhere in the dark, a thin thread of doubt formed. Not sharp enough to hurt yet, just tight enough to notice. It would stay quiet for now. Later, it wouldn't be quiet at all. Chapter 5. When Jolene walked in. The rooftop was already busy when Harper and Ashton arrived. Spotlights washed the pool in shifting blues and purples. The DJ booth pulsed against the skyline, and every group looked like they'd been styled by the same mood board. Harper kept close to Ashton, matching his stride. She'd chosen the dress carefully, trending without being desperate. It wasn't really her, but it fit the room. She hoped that was enough.
For the first 20 minutes, everything went fine. Miles found them immediately. Ward, finally, I've had to talk to 4 people about crypto in your absence. I blame you personally.
Harper laughed politely. Ashton was already in the energetic mode she'd seen at work dinners. Handshake, joke, compliment, eye contact strong enough to feel intentional. The version of him that could convince a board to say yes to anything. A photographer asked for a group shot. Harper smiled, posed, tilted her glass. She could play this game. It just didn't feel like hers. Someone from PR walked past, mid-conversation. And if she really shows up, this event is done. Viral. It's over for everybody else. Who? Harper asked quietly. Before anyone could answer, the energy in the room shifted. She didn't see the reason right away. She felt it. Conversations paused, then sped up. People checked mirrors, fixed hair, adjusted posture. It was subtle, but unanimous. Then Jolene walked in. The red dress wasn't loud. It was precise. Not attention-seeking, just impossible to ignore. She moved like someone who never needed to look for her place in a room. It arrived with her. Harper didn't react at first. She couldn't. Her brain was still catching up. Model, influencer. This was the person Miles and PR had been talking about. Ashton's posture changed before he even looked at Jolene. His shoulders squared, his stance reset, his smile sharpened. Then he spotted her, and his face lit up in a way Harper hadn't seen since the last time he'd won an award at work. He didn't leave her side. He didn't step away. But he wasn't here with her anymore. He was in the current of the room.
Lena appeared at Harper's elbow. Wow, she said under her breath. That has to be Jolene, right?
Harper nodded. She didn't trust her voice. Jolene wasn't crossing the room yet, just greeting the cluster of people who rushed toward her. Compliments, jokes, touches on her arm, photos already snapping. She accepted all of it like she'd stepped onto a stage she'd rehearsed. A woman near them, someone from PR, leaned toward a colleague without lowering her voice. That's the energy you can't teach. Everyone looks at her and you feel like you don't exist. Harper didn't think the comment was meant for her. That almost made it worse. Behind her, Ashton laughed at something Miles said. Except the laugh wasn't about Miles. Harper heard the difference. It was the sound people make when they want to be noticed.
Jolene glanced across the room, just scanning, and her gaze passed over their group for half a second. If it registered Harper or Ashton specifically, her face didn't show it. She smiled vaguely, continued greeting, and the crowd shifted with her like metal filings to a magnet.
Lena exhaled. Okay, I suddenly get why the industry worships her.
Harper kept her expression neutral. She's beautiful.
Not just that, Lena said. She's disruptive.
Harper didn't know whether that was meant as praise or warning. A man pushed past carelessly and clipped Harper's shoulder. Not hard, but dismissive. He didn't apologize. He was staring past her, already angling toward Jolene. That, more than the dress, more than the radiance, was the moment that cut. Not that Jolene existed, but that Harper briefly didn't.
Ashton turned to Harper then, as if remembering she was there. You okay? Drink?
Sure, she said. He went to get one. People kept moving around her, laughing, angling for selfies, adjusting outfits. She straightened her posture without realizing she'd done it. She scanned the room again, not for Jolene specifically, but for a safe place to land. A conversation to join. A pocket of normal. There wasn't one. Everyone here was performing something, hoping someone was watching. Harper wasn't jealous of Jolene. Not yet. She was afraid of what this room did to people. Ashton came back with drinks. His eyes flicked once toward where Jolene was talking to a music producer, lips parted in engaged listening. He tried to hide that, but Harper caught it. She didn't say anything. Calling it out would make her sound insecure. And insecurity was the one thing this place did not forgive.
Hey, Ashton said, leaning in close. You look amazing tonight.
It should have landed. Instead, it felt like something he remembered to do, not something he felt in the moment. Harper clinked her glass to his and smiled. She meant it. She always meant it. But there was a new layer under the smile. A thin, tightening line that hadn't been there before. She didn't look at Jolene again. She didn't have to. She could feel the whole room doing it for her.
Chapter 6. Eyes in the Room. Ashton returned with drinks and found the group had grown. Miles was mid-story about an argument in the design team, and people were laughing even though it clearly wasn't that funny. He scanned the circle. Work friends, PR faces, a musician he'd met once, someone from talent management, and then Jolene stepped into the edge of the group. Not toward him, not toward anyone in particular, just into the space. And the group shifted without instruction to make room for her. Someone offered a kiss on both cheeks. Someone else hugged her too long. She accepted every greeting like she was used to it. Not cold, not overeager, just fluent. Ashton didn't approach. He didn't need to. The circle pulled her closer on its own. Jolene, this is Ashton Ward, someone from PR said suddenly, turning her toward him. He's the brain behind tonight. Not true, but it sounded good, and everyone nodded like it was fact.
Jolene shook his hand lightly, quick and professional. Congratulations. Looks like a massive success.
Still early, Ashton said, trying to sound level.
You can tell when something hits, she replied. Then her attention drifted onward, already meeting the next set of eyes.
It lasted seconds, nothing more.
But Miles caught Ashton's expression and smirked. Not mocking, knowing.
The group conversation resumed. Someone brought up a playlist collaboration rumor. Ashton answered questions automatically. He wasn't performing exactly. More like he'd been tuned to a slightly higher frequency. Every time Jolene laughed, the rest of the group leaned in without meaning to. Ashton noticed it, and part of him wanted to shrug it off. Just another personality that burned bright. But another part, the one that had learned to build identity from approval, reacted before he could think about it. He became sharper, funnier, quicker with the callback joke. More confident talking about campaign metrics and projections. The kind of version of himself he wished he could be all the time. He wasn't aiming it at Jolene. He was aiming it at the room, but she was the room's compass tonight.
Someone offered a toast. Glasses lifted. Jolene tapped hers to Ashton's in the jumble of hands and bodies. To making noise, she said casually, before someone else pulled her attention away.
She didn't linger on him. She didn't need to. When she turned to talk to a musician, Ashton told himself it didn't matter. He wasn't here for her. He had Harper. He was proud of Harper. He loved Harper. He glanced toward where he'd left her. She was standing with Lena near the railing, smiling at something, but her shoulders were tense. The relaxed posture she'd had earlier was gone. He took half a step toward her. Then someone from the board tapped him on the shoulder to introduce him to a journalist. He went back into work mode instantly, talking about rollouts and metrics, the kind of lines that fed the machine. He was good at it, and he liked being good at it. But he checked on Harper again a few minutes later. She was laughing at something Lena said, but her eyes kept drifting toward the center of the party, toward the crowd around Jolene. Ashton told himself the smart move, the kind move, was to cut out early, take Harper home, and end the night before anything could sour. He didn't. He did what the crowd needed. He did what the campaign needed. He did what his career needed. He stayed exactly where the attention was. Chapter 7. Mirror Check. The rideshare was quiet at first. The driver asked if they wanted music. Ashton said yes before Harper answered. Something upbeat started playing. Ashton sat relaxed, one knee bouncing slightly. Tonight was big, he said. If this launch converts the way PR thinks, it could put us ahead of everyone.
Harper nodded. Looked like people were excited.
Oh yeah, the energy was unreal. He shook his head, smiling to himself. I haven't seen a room move like that in a long time. He wasn't bragging. He was replaying it. He was still there.
Harper rubbed her thumb along the seam of her dress. She had chosen it because it fit the look of the event, not because it felt like her. She wished she hadn't needed to think about it so much.
Ashton kept talking about the campaign, projections, contacts, conversations, who he met. Harper listened without interrupting. He didn't notice she was quiet.
At a stoplight, she turned her head and saw her reflection in the window. Makeup slightly worn off, hair flattened on one side. Not messy, just tired. She looked like someone who had tried hard not to stand out for the wrong reasons.
Ashton finally looked at her. You okay? You're quiet.
I'm fine, she said. Just tired.
He accepted that without follow-up. Makes sense. Those events take it out of you your first few times.
There was nothing nasty in the way he said it. It just highlighted that he belonged there more easily than she did. Harper kept her tone even. People really gravitated toward Jolene.
Sure, he said. She's a draw. That's what she's paid for.
Harper didn't respond.
He added, it's good for the brand. If the campaign has faces like hers attached, we win traffic before we even spend $1 on ads.
She nodded lightly. Someone tonight said people feel like they disappear around her.
He let out a short laugh. People in that industry exaggerate everything. It's part of the job.
Harper didn't challenge him.
He continued. Jolene's just a catalyst. If you had that kind of presence, you'd get the same reaction. It's not personal.
He meant to reassure her. The effect wasn't reassuring. Harper watched the city roll past through the window. Streetlights reflected off the glass. No symbolism, just lighting.
Ashton checked his phone. Press might call this week. I should prep a statement tomorrow.
Harper answered where she needed to. Short responses that let him keep talking.
When the car pulled up outside their building, Ashton got out first, thanked the driver, and waited on the footpath.
Harper stayed in her seat for half a second longer. She wasn't upset about Jolene. She was upset that no one at the event, including Ashton, had looked at her like she mattered. She opened the door and got out. Chapter 8. Always her name.
Lena had picked the brunch place, a cafe with mismatched chairs and plants hanging from the ceiling. Harper showed up first. She ordered coffee, checked her phone, and rubbed at her temple. She hadn't really slept. Lena arrived 10 minutes late, sunglasses on, hair in a loose bun. I am running on fumes, she said, dropping into her seat. Last night was a lot.
Harper nodded. Yeah. Menus came. They pretended to study them.
Lena didn't warm up to the topic. She dove straight in. So, Jolene.
Harper didn't answer. Not a challenge, just waiting to see where Lena was going.
That woman walks into a room and it's like someone pressed a button, Lena continued. I get it now. The hype isn't exaggerated.
Harper stirred sugar into her coffee. She definitely has presence.
Presence, influence, sorcery, whatever, Lena said. I heard 3 different groups talking about her before she even reached the bar. I swear she doesn't even need to speak.
Harper didn't react. She let Lena talk.
It's wild, Lena added. Nobody wanted to be caught not knowing who she was.
The server came to take orders. They each picked something without much enthusiasm. When he walked away, Harper reached for her water.
Lena finally paused. Hey, you okay?
I'm fine, Harper said.
Lena studied her for a second. Not suspicious, just concerned. You don't need to be bothered by her. She's not real life. She's industry.
Harper nodded once. The conversation moved to work, then family, then bad reality TV. They didn't circle back. Later that afternoon, Harper got tagged in a group photo from the event. Not by Ashton, not by someone she knew well. The picture showed a cluster of people near the pool. Jolene was in the center, laughing. Ashton was in frame. Harper wasn't. She remembered standing just out of the shot. She hadn't thought about it at the time. She set her phone face down.
When Ashton got home that evening, he looked worn out. He dropped his keys too quickly into the tray by the door and muttered something about deadlines. He kissed Harper on the cheek, opened his laptop while still standing, and kept typing as he walked to the counter. Sorry, he said. Everything just got piled on this week. No edge in his voice, just strain.
Harper brought him a glass of water. He blinked like he hadn't realized he needed it.
Thanks, he said, and kept working.
She thought about telling him what Lena said. She thought about mentioning the photo. She didn't. She sat on the couch, pulled a blanket over her lap, and watched him type. The way his shoulders tightened when he focused, the way he tapped the keys harder when he was stressed.
After a while, he said, We'll do something this weekend, okay? Just us.
It was the right sentence. The timing was off. He was staring at the screen while he said it. Sure, she replied. She wasn't angry. She wasn't jealous. She was just tired of feeling like the room always had a louder signal than she did.
Chapter 9, Networking Night. The event was smaller than the launch, a private bar booked out for industry alignment, which really meant introductions, soft deals, and bragging disguised as collaboration. Ashton arrived straight from work, still in his button-down laptop bag on his shoulder.
Miles greeted him immediately, drink in hand. Told you you'd come.
It wasn't optional, Ashton said.
You could have said no, Miles replied, then clapped him on the back. And you didn't.
They moved deeper into the room. Music low, conversations high. People clustered in groups of 5 or 6, not sitting, standing so nobody could settle in long enough to end a conversation. Ashton grabbed a drink from a passing tray. Just one. Enough to fit in. Within minutes, he was absorbed into a circle of executives, designers, PR reps, and one musician who kept dropping big names with no reaction from anyone. People asked Ashton questions about the campaign like he was the only one who could answer them. Metrics, engagement, what PR was planning next. Your stuff is everywhere, one guy said. 2 firms I know already called you the one to watch. Ashton swallowed a surprised laugh. That's crazy. It's accurate, another person said. Doesn't shock me. You and Jolene lighting up a room like that? Brand gold. He didn't correct the phrasing. He didn't expand on it either. Someone else joined the group. Is she coming tonight? No idea, someone replied. If she does, forget talking to anybody. The whole room will cave around her. The group laughed knowingly. Ashton didn't contribute, but he didn't step away. Another cluster of people interrupted with introductions. A creative director he admired shook his hand like they'd known each other for years. Someone else asked him for advice on a rollout strategy. Another asked if he'd ever consider consulting. It wasn't ego. It was momentum. In the middle of it, someone asked casually, "Where's your girlfriend tonight?" Ashton paused. Not long enough to be awkward, just long enough for him to register the answer before he said it. "She's at home," he replied. "Long week." He didn't add that he hadn't invited her. He hadn't even thought to. The conversation rolled on instantly, like the question never mattered. It didn't stick to anyone except him. Later in the night, a PR lead leaned in, laughing. "I swear, if we get you and Jolene on camera again at the next event, we're going viral before the sponsor even says a word." Ashton forced a small laugh. "We've barely spoken." "Doesn't matter," she said. "You two look like you belong on the same page. That's what counts." He didn't answer, because the truth, the part he wouldn't say out loud, was that nobody there had asked whether Harper belonged on the same page as him. Someone offered him another drink. He shook his head and lifted the bottle of water he'd switched to earlier. Signal of control. He needed to leave soon. He could feel the point where staying would turn into performing.
Miles reappeared. "You good?"
"Yeah," Ashton said. "I think I'm heading out."
Miles smirked. "Big day tomorrow. Don't want to show up dead."
Ashton didn't hide a grateful nod. He said goodbye to the room in a steady, measured pace, not rushed, not lingering. Outside, the air was cooler. He pulled out his phone. No messages. He considered calling Harper, then decided it was too late. He unlocked the rideshare app instead. He didn't feel guilty, but he did feel something like delay, a sense that he should have looped Harper into this world somehow, and never did. He told himself it was just one event. He knew it wouldn't be the last.
Chapter 10. Screenshots and Stories. Lena's apartment was quiet except for the TV. They were on the same couch, half watching a series they had already seen before. It was something to fill the time, not something either of them cared about.
During a pause in conversation, Lena checked her phone. Her expression shifted. Not excited, not dramatic, just alert. Another clip from the launch is trending.
Harper didn't look immediately. From the rooftop?
"Yeah," Lena said. "People are still posting stuff from it." She turned the screen toward Harper. The video was from a different angle than the ones they'd already seen. Same event, different perspective. The person filming moved through the crowd, and there was Ashton, laughing in a group, Jolene next to him, same proximity as before, same easy placement. Then a voice off camera. Those two owned the night.
Harper blinked once. People really like her.
"That kind of following rewires rooms," Lena said. "It's a strategy, not magic."
Harper nodded like she agreed. She didn't offer more.
They watched a few minutes of the show in silence. Then Lena scrolled again, not on purpose, just idle. "Okay, now there's a recap post." She hesitated before showing it. "You can see if you want. You don't have to."
Harper took the phone. The post was a collage of highlights from the launch. Bodies framed by skyline lighting, drinks raised, staged candid moments. Jolene was centered in most of them. Ashton appeared twice. Harper wasn't in any. The tag list read, "At Jolene Moreau, at Ashton Ward, at .. and several others Harper didn't know." She handed the phone back. "People will move on when the next event happens." Lena didn't comment. They went back to the show. Later that night, Harper got home. Ashton was working on the couch with his laptop open, posture hunched in the way he got when he was overwhelmed. Tabs covered his screen. He didn't look up right away.
"What a day," he muttered. "The numbers keep shifting and nobody agrees on targets."
Harper sat down next to him. "You're close on it, though."
He exhaled. "Close isn't good enough right now."
She waited until he paused typing. "I saw a couple more posts from the launch."
"Yeah, PR's still pumping content," he said, eyes back on the laptop. "Sponsors love it."
She nodded once. You looked like you were having fun.
It was work, he replied. Not annoyed, just factual. You can't look bored in those circles. It kills momentum.
She didn't argue. She wasn't trying to.
He rubbed his forehead and closed a spreadsheet. I'm taking Saturday off. No negotiating. We can do something then.
That sounds nice, she said. He didn't register the softness in her voice, but she didn't push for more.
He shifted the laptop to the coffee table and leaned back. Give me 10 minutes to finish this, and then we can watch something.
Harper nodded. Sure. She grabbed the remote, cued the show, and waited. Not impatient. Not dramatic. Just waiting. Because that's what she'd been doing a lot lately.